Hey, buddy. Hey, boy. What's up, squad, fam, squad? I don't know. I just finished watching Demon Slayer season 3, the Swordsmith Village arc, and let me tell you, that shit fucking slapped, my friends. That was so good. The final episodes, like some of I love. To be fair, keep in mind. Oh, actually, I don't think this came out that year, actually, or this year. I don't know, but I've loved some episodes of anime that have come out this year. I haven't watched Vinland Saga season 2, but I read the manga, so I know kind of what's happening in that. I can guess. And like, as good as that all is, this Demon Slayer episode was fucking phenomenal. This shit felt like an actual movie. Like multiple times, I was uh I don't want to spoil it, so I'm just gonna say emotional. It was very good. I didn't cry. I came very close though, to be fair. That was the closest I think I've ever come to crying and not cry. That was pretty intense. That was kind of crazy. Um, so good though. So there's so much. So if you like Demon Slayer, you already know that, or if you know of Demon Slayer, you already know what it's known for, which is its animation. And a lot of people have been saying the animation this season was worse than the last season, and I think they've absolutely lost their mind. This season has the best like animation I have ever seen, I think. So it's not as flashy as like Tengen, really, like because that's the other fight that everyone compares it to is the end of the entertainment district arc, which there's two major differences, and I think it's kind of a disservice to discredit the animation that was, in my opinion, better this entire season. Um, it's kind of a discredit to, or it's kind of annoying to just discredit all that because it's not as flashy. Because to be honest, no spoilers, but these fights are nowhere near as flashy. There's some really cool shit that happens in them, but Tengen's whole thing is he's like Mr. Flashy, so it makes sense that his fight is like really intense and bright and colorful rather than this fight where it's a lot of like back and forth. And there's, like I said, there's some fucking crazy moments still. Like no spoilers, but the Mist Hashira is like my favorite character in the show so far. He's fucking awesome. And Tandro, this final episode was the like goat. It was insane. It was fucking phenomenal. Um, yeah, the animation is better. So one thing that I will say about this season, the backgrounds are like actually beautiful. I was astonished. This latest episode, I think a lot more people like noticed because it's kind of important. But the backgrounds in the few episodes, the previous episodes, have been like insane. Like when you go back and look at season 1 of Demon Slayer, the backgrounds are pretty much nothing. It's just some like moving trees or whatever. Then season 2, it's Rengoku versus Akaza is the fight I'm mainly talking about. But you'll see like the background will change, but it's still kind of not. It's like CGI and it looks kind of wacky. I love those. To be fair, I'm not like roasting these. This is just something that I've noticed because I've rewatched all of it before a season. And then the Entertainment District arc would have backgrounds that were like good, but they were not on the level that this was. This was insane. Like I was looking at the back, I just watched Across the Spider-Verse. It feels like that where I could look at any scene and take a picture and it would be an amazing wallpaper. Like it is insane. And specifically this episode has it, and you can tell the latest episode. But I had to mention that because that I've never seen anime with backgrounds this beautiful. Like I'm alright with some blank backgrounds. Hell, my favorite manga probably of all time is Bleach. And Bleach, you'll notice, let me see if I can just grab the book I have right here. You'll notice a lot of the backgrounds in Bleach, let me see camera, is just like lines or just some empty space, which in Bleach it is like a style thing, but that's kind of how it is in a lot of manga. But Demon Slayer this season was insane. The backgrounds were like beautiful, and I have to talk about that because it was like stunning. I don't even know. I can't even. Ghost of Tsushima. It looks like that, and like I love Ghost of Tsushima, but it looks that good in the background constantly. I was astonished. So, and to be fair, also I might be overhyping this because I am in the middle of probably my least favorite One Piece arc I've seen so far, and I'm like halfway through it. So I've been watching some shit right now. Uh, but Demon Slayer is not shit. I'll tell you that much. Um, A few more just really good things. The fights are good. Like I said, they're not as flashy, but they are still very good. And there's certain scenes that look absolutely amazing. Like I said, Mistashira, my favorite character so far. He's fucking amazing. Man, there's so much good about Demon Slayer. This story. So this is the first season that I will say, because I love Demon Slayer, but it does have a pretty basic plot. Like it's a basic show, but that's, I think, part of its good part of it, or part of the good part of it is like it's pretty basic. Like anyone can kind of just sit down and be like, okay, I can root for the main character. Let's just watch this and have fun and look at these cool colors and beautiful like fights, which I think is totally fair. I don't think just something. I've talked about this before, but I don't think something being simple is a bad thing. Like a lot of people seem to think. Simplicity can be good. Like I said with Bleach, the backgrounds being white in Bleach works perfectly because it makes you like you, and that is a simple the most simple background you can possibly have because it highlights your attention on what's directly in front of you, and that's kind of the same thing that's happening in Demon Slayer, where you'll look at the fight, you'll be more invested in the fights and the characters and the such. I do think literally everything. This is kind of a hot take, I think, from a lot of people. A lot of people think this is the worst season of Demon Slayer. I completely disagree. I think this is significantly better than season one. Season one has some amazing peaks and one of the best episodes of anime I've ever seen. But this is just literally everything about season one done better. Well, there's one thing that wasn't done better, and I'll explain. But characters in general, like all the characters have character development and are really good. There's emotional moments, which season one is probably on par with that, to be fair. But no, and same with the Demon Slayer movie is probably more emotional, to be honest. But it's still like really good this season. The like I said, the animation, the fights themselves, the backgrounds, the music. Oh my god, the music is so good. I haven't even talked. I'm not gonna gush for a long time. I'm not a huge music guy, but I do tend to notice a lot of the background music. And dude, this season has some of the best music you'll ever hear. The voice acting is incredible. It's all so good. And also just another really cool thing. We have two 50-minute episodes this season, so like I always love that. I'm not a huge fan of that normally, but with shows like Demon Slayer, I'm totally okay with that. A 50-minute episode like banger. So I just said, there's one thing that they do worse in my opinion this arc than the previous two, and that is the villains. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but the villains aren't as good, I would say, as the rest of Demon Slayer. They're better than like the Swamp Demon and like, the early ones. But after Ryu, who's like a really interesting villain, and then Upper Six and Akaza. Okay, my bad. I kind of went into spoilers, so I'm gonna have to cut that out. But the villains overall, I would say they're on the same level as. Well, okay, one of them is on the same level as like Lower Moon. Like what was it? One, the Sleep Demon from Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train. And then the other demon I would say is slightly above Ryu, or is his name Ryu, the Spider Kid demon from season one, but just barely above him. They have some crazy character designs though. Like all of the villains look crazy. I just don't think they're as good as the previous seasons, and it does hurt the. I don't want to say it hurts the season because it's not like it lowers that much, but it does lower it a little bit from what it could have been. I still think it is kind of hard now, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know where I would put this season because I don't think it's the worst. Actually, here, I'll rank the seasons really quick. So, number one, actually, no, let's start from the bottom just to make it more interesting. So, I'm going to count Mugen Train, season one, Entertainment District Arc, and now Swordsmith. So, 4 different things. You know what? No, scrap that previous list. Completely, I figured it out now that I'm thinking about it. Demon Slayer season one. Like I said, really, really good, especially towards the last half. The spider mountain arc was amazing. Then season 3 is, not season 3. Then third place is Entertainment District arc. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Entertainment District, but I will say that the first half, and I just watched these recently, the first half of the Entertainment District arc is not, I don't want to say lackluster, but it's not like super great because it's kind of just them like infiltrating the district, which is fair enough. I don't really blame them on that. Like that's fair enough. And then for second place, we're gonna put Swordsmith. I love the Swordsmith village. Miss Hashira is like my favorite character I think in the show so far. The backstories are all great. All of it is just so good. That season's amazing. But then number one is the Mugen Train movie, which is still my favorite. It is really hard though because I would say all of it's kind of a pattern in Demon Slayer. The first like 2 episodes are usually no, not even. It's like usually the first like 5 episodes are kind of less good. The first half essentially is usually less good, but then the second half is absolutely insane and like the best shit you'll ever see. Um, it's like the first half is like an 80, and then the second half is like a 99, and it's like Jesus Christ. And sometimes it's 100. And that's the same way with all four of these. I would just say to like low to different varying like heights. Like I would say Demon Slayer season 1, it's like most like the beginning half, it's like a 75, and then the second half, it's like a 85. 90. I actually at the highest I would say it's like a 95 because an episode 19 is like an actual masterpiece. And then also future Ryan here. I just have to tell you because I've kind of thought about it more and I kind of realized what I wanted to say now. So I would say that each of these seasons does something very like good in its own unique way. Like every season is unique in its own way and does something really well. Season 1 does the setup like extremely well. It's probably the most like middle ground of all of them, but it has some of the best like emotional peaks with episode 19, and it's really showing you just how good the show could and can be. And then the entertainment district arc, if you're just looking for fights, like if you're literally just there for the animation, that is going to be your favorite, I think, for a while probably, because the entertainment district, it's just so flashy. Like it's just actually, it's so many colors, and the stakes are so high by the end. And I'm not even like, this isn't like I'm not looking down on you because I love the animation in Demon Slayer, and I love the entertainment district arc. But I do think that is like what they do specifically really good in that season is the tension and the stakes and the also the villain. I really love Gitaro, but and the just overall animation and like the fight itself. I would say that season 3, or the entertainment district arc, and not season 3. I mean, sorry, is third. And then the Swordsmith Village. I think the best thing that the Swordsmith Village does is it has a mix of those two. It's an emotional, like there's some emotional things. It's a lot more, it's like the first season that I would say tells like a really interesting story and is pushing the forward story really fast, which is good. I enjoy that. I'd also say if you're looking for music, it's probably the best. This season was insane with the music, the voice acting, the characters. I would also say, as much as I love Rengoku and Tengen, the Hashira this season it's significantly better in my opinion. Well, one of them is, at least for me. And then Genya's like awesome. There's a bunch of characters that are really good that you just meet. And then Mugen Train is by far, I think, if you're looking for like an emotional story, this is Mugen Train. Mugen Train is actually, you feel very bad by the end. It's crazy. I still rewatch it every once in a while, and I still I feel like I'm about to tear up when I watch Rengoku's death. It's like really, really good. And not to say that these things don't do other things really well. Like I said, Entertainment District Arc also just does everything good. Season 1 does pretty much, it's like middle ground of everything. Swordsmith does fights really well, like certain moments and fights are extremely good. And then Mugen Train also has the really good fights as well. It's just I thought I should kind of explain what I was thinking when I was listing these. And it's not really a determined list, but that's how I feel right now. So Entertainment District Arc is like a 70 to like an 100. Like it is insane. It is like some of the best action you'll ever see. And then Swordsmith Village is like a 70 to like a 90. So it's, or not even, no, like it's like an 80 to a 90. So it just stays in the high up ranking. And Swordsmith also is it breaks the bounds of, like I'd said, where it's like the first half is kind of meh, but then the second half is bad. This one, it's less like that. It still is kind of, But I would say the first episode is like amazing, and the second episode and third, I think it's the third episode is like the best. No, wait, fourth. I don't know. It gets into the action fast though, and I loved it ever since that. And then Mugen Train's just like the actual like my favorite movie. I have a not to flex or anything, but I have this really cool uh like limited edition Demon Slayer Mugen Train with like a bunch of art in it and the movie. Like one of my guys possess. I love Mugen Train. Mugen Train's amazing. I do think with the story now though, like I said, I actually do think this season had the best story out of the entire show so far. It's actually setting like I like Jujutsu Kaisen, especially Zero, but I will say Demon Slayer to me is kind of on the same thing where I think it was just so early in the story that there wasn't much of a story really, and it's kind of hard to enjoy. But Demon Slayer, I felt like more connected to the characters than I do in Jujutsu Kaisen. Just now, it feels like the story is like, okay, we're getting into some shit now. Um, Not to say that everything before that is bad, but now Demon Slayer is like we're getting into some shit, and I know Jujutsu Kaisen next season we're getting into some shit because I've read the manga. Not to talk about other anime though for the whole time, but man, oh man, do I recommend this season. I recommend Demon Slayer as to anybody. Like, it's one of very few shows that I think literally anyone can watch and enjoy. It's just that good. Like, it's just fun. It's just fun action, essentially animated action. And it's very good. And this season is just as good. As I said, I think it's my second favorite season. I loved it, which is I think a hot take to a lot of people. A lot of people think this is the worst season, which fair enough. I just I think I just preferred the characters. I think well it's kind of hard because I love all the Demon Slayer characters, but I like especially fuck with this Miss Toshira and Genya are like some of the coolest characters I've seen in the show so far, and they're both in this season, and it's like, bro, these are it's just fucking fire. Um, I would say if I was to give it a rating, so just to get it on the board, also this Swordsmith Village, I would give it a 90 as well. If I want a precise rating, it would be like a 93. It's slightly better than the Entertainment District, but only slightly. They're both so good. I had to talk about it. Sorry if I've been gushing. I've recorded for like 30 minutes now. Probably a lot of spoilers, so I'll cut it around. Um, but that's about it. And one thing, they also so no spoilers, like I said, but they did confirm there's another season, which is amazing news. I hope more people watch Demon Slayer, and I hope people enjoyed the finale as much as I did. And I'll talk to you guys about some more anime in like a few weeks because you know what? Jujutsu Kaisen comes out and Bleach. And I need to talk about both of those shows before they release again because I want to have like official rankings for a lot of the shows. And that's about it. Later.